I have to comment on one more thing, though, before I move on. And this really angers me. There was no mention at all on the show about anything having to do with Xavier Woods, Big E, or Kofi Kingston. In fact, I don't think any of the three even appeared on the show. The previous week, their appearance was limited to the camera showing them standing backstage during maybe it was the tag team match, whatever the tag team match on Raw was 2 weeks ago. They showed the three of them backstage watching on a monitor. And that was it. There was never any follow-up in the form of an interview or anything. Xavier Woods is a great talker. I assume that was the reason they put him with these guys in the first place. I figured the following week he would come out on TV, flanked by Kofi and Big E on either side of him, and he would cut this promo and let us know about this new unified faction, about what their goals are, about why they're united, why they're together. Never said a word. Never gave them any mic time. So this week they weren't even on the show. Now I'm seeing reports, and I'm not sure where this is coming from, because I haven't read this from a reliable source, but maybe it's true, that WWE may have already dropped the whole storyline. There may be no faction. It may be dead before it's even begun. And you know what? It may well be true. Big E was on SmackDown this week. No Kofi, no Xavier Woods. I didn't see it, but I assume that means he was just out there as good old babyface Big E. Got squashed by Rusev. No mention of any of this other stuff. Just back to being a geek on the show getting beat in the middle of the ring. And it makes me angry, and I'll tell you why it makes me angry. WWE loves to talk about how Raw is a television show. It's not wrestling. It's not a wrestling show. It's entertainment. It's a TV show. We've been on the air for more years than Gunsmoke and ER and whatever other shows. You know, they always spit out these did you know facts, right? They're a TV show. Vince McMahon once said, we make movies. We make 2-hour movies every week. Of course, now those movies are 3 hours. So it's basically, Vince McMahon loves to make Michael Bay movies every week, is essentially what he's saying, right? They're full of action and drama and bad acting and all of these different things. And if you're going to call yourselves a television show, okay, or an entertainment show, and not what you really are, which is a wrestling show, then I can sit here and tell you that Monday Night Raw is a bad television show. It is one of the worst television shows on the air, if you look at it strictly from that point of view, from the point of view of characters and all of that stuff. Because if I was watching any other show on television, a non-sports, non-wrestling show, okay, a drama that had acting and storylines, or a comedy, it could be either one, but let's say a drama on TNT or a network like that, or AMC, which has some great shows, The Walking Dead, okay? If I was watching any other television show, and they introduced 3 new characters to me, or they took 3 existing characters on the show, and their storylines took a turn where they came together. It was some kind of new storyline that was developed on an episode. It got people really interested and really excited to see where it was going to go. And the very next week on that television show, there was no mention of those characters at all. They weren't even on the freaking show. And then a week after that, one of the characters is on the show, but he's right back to doing what he had been doing 3 weeks earlier. It's almost like what we saw never happened. Can you fathom any other television show on the air right now pulling a stunt like that, and what people would think of that? That would be bad television, wouldn't it? That would be an awful television show. That's what Raw is, when they pull shit like this. I was genuinely interested to see what direction they were going to go in with these guys. Is it going to be a new Nation of Domination type faction? Is there a racial component to it? Is it not race? They just so happen to be 3 black wrestlers, but maybe there was another reason why they were coming together. Maybe, and I didn't think they were going to push the envelope like they did back in 1997, because that was a different time. That was the Attitude Era. That was the birth of the Attitude Era in 1997. I mean, I would say it goes back even further to the end of 1996, but that was definitely not a PG era. Now we're in a PG era, okay? I didn't expect it to be the same thing. But I expected them to follow up on their own frickin' story. They never did. And it looks like it may be dead in the water. Which also means that Kofi is still going to be dead in the water. Xavier Woods is dead in the water because they're not going to do shit with him. Big E, maybe at some point they'll wake up and do something with him, but right now they're doing a whole lot of nothing. And to me, that makes your show a bad television show. Now, maybe they're just waiting until after SummerSlam. They don't have anything right now. They don't want to rush into a match, let's say, with Big E and Kofi against the Usos. Maybe they're going to build that up after SummerSlam. Maybe I'm wrong. And they're just holding off on it one more week. But sure doesn't seem like that to me. It seems like Vince McMahon got bored and they moved on. Plans change, right? That's their official, that's the slogan of WWE. Plans change. They should put that on all their stationery and all their materials with their new logo. Plans change. That sucks for you and me. We sit through 3 hours of this shit every single week, and finally we find something that seems mildly intriguing. And they pretend like it never happened. Right back to the same old status quo bullshit that they give us every single week. That's a bad television show right there. And if this were anything else, I mean, I've been a wrestling fan my whole life. I'm not going to give up so easily and just stop watching the show. If this were any other television show, I would. I wouldn't watch that show the week after that. Are you kidding me? They get way more chances than most other shows on TV would get, and I think they take that for granted. Because they know that you and I and all the other schmucks who watch their show are going to come back the following week. It's like what Triple H said in that promo, right? Me and my friend Mark, we're not going to watch, except we are. You know what, though? He's right. He's right. And we let them get away with it. And that sucks.